Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we are wrapping up Avalon, Part 1. Princess Katherine and her gang, along with 36 gargoyle eggs, think they've found safety at her uncle's castle. But a usurper has other ideas. A Game of Thrones style soap opera develops as soon as our protags walk in. Kenneth loves a noblewoman named Fenella, but she loves Constantine, a rival to that king. Constantine loves power, which leads him to use her. Constantine kills the king and assumes the crown. He's no fan of gargoyle eggs either. His greatest scheme, though, is to marry Katherine against her will. It's up to Magus, Tom, and Mary to save the day. But it comes at a steep price. Catch up on Avalon. The earlier piece of this, you can read it or watch it. Nice guys finish last. Mal warns his father about Constantine's disloyalty. But Kenneth is all about giving people chances. Be nice, he says. Constantine is a good boy who's lacked your privilege. So what? He's a corrupt man who wants to usurp the throne. Mal knows what's up. How does a king last in the Middle Ages when he lets his rivals run free? There old Constantine is bowing to the king. Constantine hits on Katherine. There's one reason. Marrying her would give him claim to the throne. And she's busy with the eggs. Look at that skeevy bugger. He's worse than Dracon. Fenella is not pleased at this. He smooths things over by saying it's time they tell Ken they want to marry. Kenneth has already proposed to her, but though he is sweet and kind, she says she doesn't love him. Last I checked, most women back then would have been overjoyed to marry an old king who was sweet and kind and loved them, since most royal marriages were arranged and for the sole purpose of consolidating and or gaining power. There he's looking even skeevier than usual, and he's got his hands on Fenella's arms, and she's got her back to him, and she's not looking pleased. He is playing his Disney villain role to the hilt. At Constantine's request, Fenella invites Kenneth to the drying house, like where they smoke hams and stuff, so they can all discuss how she doesn't love him but does love Constantine. She's thrilled because she thinks this will finally bring her and Con together. Tom climbs onto the roof and looks through the smoke vent. He sees Constantine murder Kenneth in cold blood. Unlike Bran Stark, though, he doesn't fall. Kid, do you want to start seeing three-eyed crows? Because this is how you start seeing three-eyed crows. And there's the king fallen. And that's Fenella in the background. She's screwed now. Her boyfriend is a murderer who's just using her. And the king who loved her is dead. He snags the crown right quick. Constantine proclaims himself king. And as king, uses his right to break the fourth wall. Constantine immediately pushes through his rebellion and takes the throne. He imprisons anybody who's not on his side, including Katherine. Unlike Kenneth, he knows that you can't let rivals run rampant. If you have to strike, make it so effective that an enemy will never get back up again. Because if they do, they're going to be severely pissed. Run away. Katherine's cousin, Ken's son, wants Katherine, Mal there, to run away with him and the others. She says Con will hunt her down. Besides, the eggs need tending. So Mal leaves. Tom's asleep, not dead, in that scene that Magus is carrying him. And also note that Jeff Bennett voices both Mal and Magus here. Katherine tries to send Magus, Tom, and Mary away, but they refuse. Magus is loyal to his princess, even though now she is without title and holdings. He loves her. It's obvious there. They make a nice couple. He's holding her hands. After Constantine is crowned, he announces that he's going to marry Katherine on Michaelmas. There are 36 good reasons for her to obey him. Fenella, the jilted lover, is a woman scorned. Constantine may know how to murder his way to power, but he doesn't know the first thing about women. He underestimates her seriously. There he is grabbing Katherine's wrist. Such a romantic Constantine is. Props for the strategy, though. How to save her and the eggs? Well, Magus is smart. He uses his magic to disguise the eggs as garbage, then sends Tom out with them. A moment later, Constantine arrives to threaten them, or rather reiterate his threat against them if Kat doesn't marry him. The spell is Per usum meum, ad sumate signo tuto uto Okare, meaning through my skill receive this protective sign or spell to use, O precious ones. There's mid-transformation. The eggs are appearing to be just a bunch of pots that have been broken. Setting sail. Magus really thinks outside the box here. If Constantine is going to hunt Katherine to the ends of the earth for not obeying, they need to get beyond the ends of the earth. Thus, the magical Isle of Avalon is their only hope. The Grimorum holds the spell to access it. Because of course it does. Of course, a human magical book would have a spell to access a fairy world. I really wish we had more history about Avalon, like how it came to be, if it was human and fairy magic or fae magic that made it. It would be really fascinating. And there's a beautiful scene with them sailing off in the skiff, and the moon is behind them. The pissed off Fenella helps them by drugging Constantine with magical sleeping cider. Seriously, he really needs to stop underestimating women. And I don't know if they had that fine of glassware back then. I think it probably would have been metal wine glasses. When in doubt, pinky out. They both have their pinkies out. I'm not sure why they didn't just kill him. He's a murderer after all, but I guess that would create a power vacuum or something. I don't know. The skiff trip goes well until they reach the border of Avalon. Then from the fog materializes a boat with the weird sisters aboard. They will block the way for mortals. Oberon made them guardians, they say. No outside magic may enter, meaning Magus can't bring the Grimorum Arcanorum. Tom argues. They decide the human screeching is like a barn owl's, so the sisters launch a transfiguration spell at them after saying the mortals' lives are meaningless. So, 2020 moment or whatever, Oberon has forbidden his children from openly meddling in the lives of humans, but I guess just doing this is totally okay because they came near Avalon. Okay, that's some interesting rule bending right there. Also note that owls are frequently used. There's the owl witch legend, La Lechuza, in Spanish or Hispanic folklore. Also, there's a symbol of wisdom in Greek folklore. You'll see a lot of owl symbolism in occult type settings as well. All right, here they are. They're standing in front of them. I guess they're on some sort of houseboat or something. And Disney green magic is all around them. Magus comes through again, though. He turns the spell back onto them. It's interesting that human and fae magic are compatible. Energy is energy, I guess. It actually hits the Grimorum that he's using as a shield. Per usum meum dira te rectus volarte, or volare. Meaning, through my skill, twist back the curse directly on you. That's some pretty basic magic. It just sort of like says what he wants done and just says it in Latin and wham bam. So, does that mean like the Romans were always using magic? Did they come up with the magic? Like, why is it Latin? I don't know. There's a bunch of magical languages out there, honestly. Theban is one of them. I believe that John Dee has like the alphabet, the angelic alphabet. Could be wrong there. And there's also the Twilight languages, which I guess are the demon languages, or something like that. At least the spiritual entity languages. And here's the three owls, and they're color-coded. Don't you hate it when you try and turn somebody into an owl and they reflect the spell back on you? It's so awkward. Magus is unwilling to leave the source of his power behind, so he decides to bid farewell to Katherine. Well, Princess has other ideas. His magic doesn't matter to her. Mary and Fenella will mine the Grimorum and keep it out of the wrong hands. Okay. Just as he doesn't care about her noble title, she doesn't care about his spells. I mean, she does, but not like it matters that much to her. Tom wants to go with his mom. Well, yeah, obviously. But she says he won't be safe because he saw Ken's murder at Constantine's hands. So she'll leave her son, just as the Gargoyles left their eggs to Katherine Magus to raise. Hey, come on now. It's not like they had facial recognition and tracking abilities back in the Middle Ages. I'm pretty sure you could have blended in with the rest of the peasants. And you brought him this far. You were in a place that got attacked by Vikings, so you're refugees. I don't think that he's any stranger to danger here. And I know that Mary has to bring the book back, but to Fenella. But, if they really can't do anything with the book here, maybe it would be safer just to dump it in the ocean. Did they ever think about that? I don't know. We don't know either. This is one of the saddest scenes in the series, when Tom bids farewell to his mother. It is, I'm telling you, the saddest, because Tom is still crying here as an adult, telling the story. Land ho! This brings us up to speed on the pro-tags, just in time too, because they're landing in Avalon. Tom says the Archmage is laying siege to the island. Goliath points out that the mage is dead. Nevertheless, he says, he's a threat. So, is he a lich? How did he survive the fall down the grotto? Bronx bounds off the skiff, then. He's found the eggs. They're hatched. And grown. Well, what did you expect? Do you think they'd still be eggs? There they are, looking down at them. Final thoughts. Constantine is a one-dimensional villain with a one-track mind. That doesn't make him any less dangerous or effective, though. He overthrew the kingdom in short order. He knew to use the eggs against Kat. He moved with conviction and ruthlessness that secured his victory. Props for that. But I don't find him that interesting or attractive at all. He's the standard usurper who overthrows the ruler. This episode is mainly about bringing the pro-tags up to speed. We haven't even seen the Archmage yet, and he's the main villain of this triptych. It's nice to see the Weird Sisters again, though. I wonder if they'll do more later. I'm assuming yes, and Mac and Demona will be there, too, if the preview's any indication. I'm glad we get to see more Magus. I like him. Next ep is Avalon Part 2. We get a tour of history with the villains and see how the Archmage survived that fall into the grotto. Hint, and there's some heavy magic involved and some mind-bending maneuvers. We'll come back next time for that. So, what did you think of it so far? Did you like the little time warp? Do you think that there was any other options that they had other than completely leaving, basically, our reality? And how do you think they should have handled the issue with not being able to take their Grimorum back in? You can comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.